Welcome to TMZ Live. Mauricio Umansky, Kyle Richards' husband, who is the
estranged husband,
the estranged owner of the agency, huge real estate company, had a get off my lawn moment with one of our cameramen.
Yes, and this relates to a recent break-in that we told you about that Kathy and Rick Hilton suffered, as well as Sutton Strack from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
They were at BravoCom over the weekend, and while they were there, burglars hit both of their homes. Actually, with Kathy Hilton's home, her husband Rick was inside when the burglars came in.
And I think this is relevant because remember that if you don't know this, I'm sure Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans know, Rick Hilton and Mauricio are very good friends. And in fact, Mauricio...
They're brother-in-laws.
Yeah, I guess they're technically brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
Very close. And Mauricio told us he had spoken to Rick about that break-in, and then he had a warning, I guess, of sorts.
How are Kathy and Rick doing since the break-in?
I haven't spoken to them since the break-in, but like, I went through a break-in and it wasn't easy and it was not fun, and like it's just, you know, like I can't even imagine what they're going through yet. But I heard about it before everybody else did, and it's hard. We got to fix this state. We got to fix this city. We got to stop. We got to get safety. We got to get the period end of story. We got to put these in jail.
Do you know at least have you heard if they lost anything, or do you
I have no idea yet. I have no idea yet. But I got to tell you, you rob my ass and I will kill you.
So I got to say something that you heard. This wasn't theatrical. You could really hear the anger because
he's angry about the condition of California and crime in California,
and that, you know, and especially people who are high profile who are getting hit left and right. It seems, I think every week we've done a story about somebody who gets hit when they're out of town.
It's very clear that they're being targeted, and they're using, you know, look, the criminals are using social media, they're using events. They know when celebrities are going to be at certain events, or if they post on social media that they're on vacation. And we've been saying that for years, that that's something celebrities should not be doing.
Well, but when you have an event like BravoCom, where they advertise that you're going to be gone, I mean, there's nothing, you have no choice. And you can just feel how, listen, there's a lot of anger in California over a lot of things right now. And people are just fed up. And one of the things they're fed up with is crime.
Do you think part of his frustration is, as we said, he runs this insanely successful real estate business? Are sales down in California, specifically in LA right now? Are sales down because of the crime? So it's affecting his business. That's probably part of the frustration.
I see this differently. The way I see this, in some weird way, this helps the agency, his company, because...
what specifically, what helps the agency?
I think what he said about you come into my house...
Not break-ins.
No, not break-ins. You come into my house and I'll blank and kill you. The reason I think that helps the agency is there are a lot of people who list their houses with real estate companies and they have open houses on Sunday. And people who own these big houses are always concerned somebody's going to walk in and steal a bunch of stuff. What Mauricio is telegraphing is, you come to the agency, we're super vigilant about that because we're not going to take it. And I think there's a kind of a subtle thing that actually kind of helps his business.
Specifically about himself.
I know, but
I get your point that people could say, like, that's his attitude, and I'm sure that's what he's preaching to his clients as well.
Now, one other thing that I think is really interesting from last night, or the day before, when we got Mauricio out, one of his competitors was out.
Yes.
Jason Oppenheim.
They were hanging out, and keep in mind, they are both single, and certainly Jason was ready and willing to play into that.
You know, look at this. Oh, baby.
That's hot. That is just single manhood right there, bro.
That's hysterical.
I guess even in the midst of crime, they can find a funny...
I gotta say, the thing that struck me about this is, in what other city do two guys, both of whom own competing real estate companies, both have reality television shows? Which is, how random is that?
Hi, my name's Kyle. I'm calling from New Jersey. And regarding the Mauricio story, I don't blame him. There's a lot of crazy people these days. And honestly, everyone deserves to feel safest, especially in their own home. And when it comes to these people, like public figures, reality stars like Mauricio, politicians, athletes, singers, stalking, there's home invasions, robbery. There's just a lot. And I think this is Mauricio's way of putting his foot down and say, don't try it. Not with me. I'm not the one. It's not going to happen again to me, you know?
That's what he's saying.
President Trump is up in arms over something we told you about yesterday. The senators and members of Congress who are actively urging the military to disobey any orders that they get that they feel are illegal. We had Senator
Slotkin.
Yes, Senator Slotkin was with us yesterday talking about this, and it has clearly come to the president's attention.
Well, we asked her, do you think the president's going to accuse you of treason or sedition? And she as much as said absolutely. Well, she was right.
Yes, the word sedition was used in several posts that the president put up today, but basically what he said was he also reposted one of his followers who said, hang them, George Washington would. And then he also went on to say seditious behavior.
The whole thing.
They're traitors, arrest them, put them on trial, the whole thing.
So his press secretary, unsurprisingly,
was asked about this today.
And launched.
This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. And it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
Well, that's Donald Trump. Yeah. But that aside, the reality is the Uniform Code of Military Justice says that members should disobey, must disobey unlawful orders. Yeah. And all they said was what the Code of Military Justice says. So this wasn't seditious. This was totally consistent with the UCMJ.
So there's 2 things happening here. Number one, it's side of the aisle kind of stuff, right? They're criticizing Trump. Trump is going back at them. They disagree. They don't like each other. They're not on the same political alignment. Got it. But you're right. The actual truth of the UCMJ specifically says that it is not a defense to any crime to say I was just following orders. It's called the Nuremberg principle, because that's what the Nazi soldiers said at Nuremberg.
That's right.
We were following orders. We'll completely defend it. They said the Nuremberg principles are, it is not a defense to say you were following orders. As a matter of fact, U.S. soldiers must. They are legally obligated to defy any unlawful order.
Caroline Leavitt said that these members of these lawmakers have sworn an oath to the Constitution, but so have the people who are giving orders to the soldiers. And if they're giving illegal orders,
the Constitution doesn't say.
There was a very famous incident during the Vietnam War called the My Lai massacres. And what happened was they basically slaughtered a village, our soldiers. And they were prosecuted for that. And it was no defense that I was just following orders, because it was so over the pale.
What the actual
and so you can actually be prosecuted by following an illegal order.
Absolutely.
And My Lai was a good example of that.
We covered this with Senator Slotkin yesterday. The problem is for some of the actual rank and file soldiers, they're in a gray area, right? Because they may be told to do something. The example she gave were the pilots who are firing missiles at these boats
ships in
the
Venezuela. Yeah.
Right. They're trusting that their superiors have proper intelligence, and these are actually drug boats.
The UCMJ allows defiance of any unlawful order, but it also mandates the defiance of orders that are manifestly illegal. So that raises the standard.
This one isn't. So in other words, this may not. That case.
Well, it didn't say manifest. I mean, I could see somebody saying, I'm not going to drop a bomb. The better example to me is at the end of Trump's term, when there were protesters in front of the White House where they were saying Donald Trump was trying to overturn the election. And he told his Secretary of Defense to have the military shoot at the legs of the protesters.
Basically make them dance.
The Secretary of Defense said no, he wouldn't do it.
Right.
Well, then Donald Trump, by definition, would be calling his Secretary of Defense seditious.
That's right.
Hi, my name is Alicia Scott from Chicago, Illinois, and this is another example of Trump acting as a dictator instead of a president. The military is legally required to refuse any order that is unconstitutional or illegal. Hearing Trump's threats of hanging people to their deaths simply because they disagree with him is terrifying. And if he's willing to publicly go this far, making these heinous threats to our military, what makes anyone think he'll stop there?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. You know, it's funny because when he said I could walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and nothing would happen to me, you thought it was hyperbole? Maybe not hyperbole.
Coming up. Everyone's been there where you're driving to work or you're going wherever you're going, your car breaks down, and you just feel like, why me? Somewhere in the LA area, we're not clear on exactly where, when Justin Bieber happened along. Here's how it plays out.
Are you Justin Bieber?
Yeah, what's up, bro, Justin?
Be right back. All right, what you're about to see is definitely one of those only in Hollywood moments. Everyone's been there where you're driving to work or you're going wherever you're going, your car breaks down, and you just feel like, why me? Well, that happened to one guy somewhere in the LA area. We're not clear on exactly where, when Justin Bieber happened along. Now, here's how it plays out. The video you're about to see was shot by the guy whose car broke down. He seems to be having a moment, like, why me? And then this happens.
By the way, I'm looking askance here.
The is, well, he'll explain.
You moved to the big city, trying to make it like everybody else. No friends. Rich white girls driving by in their Lamborghinis. And I think Justin Bieber just stopped to help me. I don't know. Are you Justin Bieber?
Yeah, what's up, bro, Justin?
I love you, bro. Can I hug
Love you too, yes, sir, bro.
My bad, I didn't know you was.
No, it's all good.
I was
What
already
happened?
recording. Do you really want to know?
Yes, bro.
Okay, so my life is bro.
Tell me, bro.
I swear, I'm gonna stop recording.
So he stops recording. He clearly has some conversation with Justin, and afterwards, talks about.
I'm calling BS. I am telling
Why can't we have a good thing? This is like a good moment of humanity.
I believe in my bones this is staged.
It is a good moment of humanity.
It is staged.
We've all been
This guy is a musician.
Right?
It is weird.
The part that's weird to you is the social media aspect of having a bad moment and he's recording it and sharing it on social media.
Would you
bet?
all the time.
But
Would you wager a bet?
Do that.
Would you wager a bet that this is not staged?
I believe it's real.
Don't you think,
Enough to bet.
But Harvey, don't you think he would record more of it if it was staged? I mean, the minute he started talking about his life, he turned the camera off.
When he looks and says, Justin Bieber, it feels staged. And Justin says,
First of all, he didn't do it like that. Come on. He was rubbing his eyes like, is that Justin Bieber?
And then you hear Bieber say,
I would be in disbelief.
Bieber's reaction was not great acting. I'm sorry.
He went in for a hug. How
Guys,
was that acting?
You guys watch.
And by the way, did you hear him? He didn't say, hey, I'm Justin Bieber. He said, hey, man, I'm Justin.
Yeah, he's like, what's going on? Because he sees he's going through a rough time.
I understand. And this,
I'm giving Justin Bieber the credit.
This was
take three.
No.
Also, Harvey,
Real or fake?
No, it's fake. It's fake.
What? All right, what's your evidence? What's your evidence?
He hasn't posted anything else after this.
Yeah, we don't know. Did Justin even help him out?
What's your evidence? It's real.
Hold on, what's your evidence?
He hasn't posted anything else. The guy that posted this, he posted that, and then that was it.
Yeah,
he never
there's no
commented
update.
on it anymore.
Did Justin
no
help
updates,
him?
nothing. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Right.
Why wouldn't
If
you
you
go
wanted
back?
more
being real.
No, you're in for a penny, you're
No.
in for a pound. You want
real.
You would
He
post
had
more.
the moment. If it was fake, he'd be posting more, going like, "Hey, did you guys see that I was hanging out with Justin Bieber?"
Luca's
he would be
running our
trying
live
to get
stream.
more
Yeah,
plays.
Luca, drop a poll.
You're the tiebreaker.
Right.
Real or
Luca is
Hold on.
talking to we're doing our live stream.
Real or fake, Luca?
So what is the chat saying?
The chat is saying that you're right, Harvey. That seems.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What happened to a good guy?
It's a little bit more. It's somewhat split, but it's definitely seeing more comments saying that you're right.
Yeah, because everyone on the internet is going to go negative. Everyone's going to go with the negative, just like you, Mr. Negative. I believe in humanity.
I believe in
Justin. I think Justin did a nice thing for this guy, and I also believe that he was just having a bad moment.
Fake.
I do think that Justin Bieber genuinely did help this poor guy out. He seemed like he was really having a hard time, and it doesn't put anything past me that he really did come out there and say, "Hey man, do you need something?" It was really heartwarming to see Justin do that.
And afterward, all the guy said is, "Hey, Justin prayed with me."
Hey, I got some really good donuts to sell.
Oh,
are you
my
interested?
Gosh, these donuts, don't bring these things up.
Yes, of course.
Sugarless donuts, you don't want them. Well, we're going to get a little more clarity on what happened with Porsha Williams on board that flight from Vegas back to Atlanta after BravoCon. We showed you the video of police escorting her off the plane, and we told you the FBI was now investigating the incident because it's this dispute between her and another passenger happened while in flight, so that's why the FBI was on the case.
But we couldn't find out what happened.
Right. Porsha wasn't really saying. All that her people were saying is, you will see that the other person was really to blame here, and this is going to be dismissed. Well, now we have the body cam from those officers who responded, and you're going to hear Porsha's side of it, and you will hear the other woman as well.
Instagram was on, and she told me, am I going to have to listen to that? And I said, well, do you want to? And she said, no. I said, well, there was a nicer way you could have said that, And then she says, what bitch? Who you think you are? And so I said, oh, no. I said, y'all need to get her out of here.
My phone is sitting against my leg on my lap, so I take it to video to try and protect myself. And as soon as I go like this, she takes her hand and goes like that and throws my phone. Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid she's going to have me killed.
You didn't slap the phone from my hands?
No.
Okay.
I say, get your ugly ass out of here, because then I'm upset. Then the stewardess says to me, you're an adult. You're an adult. You can't be cursing like that. No, and I said, why are you chastising me? Like, this woman is the one going crazy.
So let me just kind of give my take on this, since I haven't said anything, that there's just a little bit of a disagreement that either of them could have just let lie.
Right.
And it escalates and escalates and escalates and escalates. And then who's at fault?
And now the FBI has to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, like, who's at fault when somebody could have just said, hey, okay,
you know who's at fault here? You should not be playing music on your phone when you're on.
She said it was Instagram.
You shouldn't have the volume up. That's so annoying when you're sitting next to someone. And I will also say, I think that that's messed up for anyone to do. This woman kind of does look like a Karen. Like she clearly,
right, you can say that.
I have an Aunt Karen, so I can say that. But she clearly, she escalated things. She escalated things.
I'm not going to argue with
that. But they're both.
It's like,
yes, Porsha really did hit her hand. Yeah. And Portia's denying that.
And other passengers come and defend Porsha and say that the physical part didn't happen.
Porsha was wrong.
Well, if the physical part didn't happen, then this all goes away.
Porsha was wrong not to have earphones.
Right.
Or to have some.
But the only thing that is the least bit criminal would be if it gets physical. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just two people arguing about something. Please, the FBI has way more important things to do.
Don't argue about stupid stuff.
Hi, it's Rhea. I'm in Atlanta, conveniently. And I will say, Porsha, I absolutely love you, but you cannot have your phone loud on an airplane. That's the most annoying thing ever. However, the other lady is not beating those Karen allegations, throwing around things like fear for my life, and I'm scared, and she hit me. You're not going to be able to beat those allegations, especially if those things weren't true that you said, and everybody said it wasn't true.
You know, it's also, I'm imagining that this happened in first class.
Oh, of course.
No, it did. No, it did happen in first class.
Two passengers sitting in first class, and you like,
as long as we're on the subject, just real quick, there's a guy at my gym who does business calls where the volume is coming out in the middle of the gym. So if you happen to be watching, stop it. It is annoying. You shouldn't be doing that.
You should slap the phone out of his hand next time.
No, he's too big.
Coming up,
Who doesn't love a good conspiracy theory?
Oh, I'm in on this one. I am
and
all
there is one
in.
that is going around about Timothy Chalamet.
Double life.
Or should we say SD
rapper.
Kid. Rapper SD Kid.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Who doesn't love a good conspiracy theory?
Oh, I'm in on this one. I am
and
all
there is one
in.
that is going around about Timothy Chalamet.
Double life.
Or should we say SD
rapper.
Kid, rapper SD Kid, a UK rapper, and we say
a UK rapper
because the rapper has an accent.
We
but
think it's
Chalamet,
one and the same.
Yes.
We think Timothy Chalamet is actually
other people think this also. It's not like
we didn't make it up,
Right.
But there's a lot of evidence that Timothy Chalamet is also this rapper.
Visual evidence.
So let's show.
Well,
yes.
not just visual evidence, okay? So we obviously have the side-by-side of their eyes looking very similar.
So put up, by the way, the same bandana.
Same
right?
Alexander McQueen skull scarf.
Right, so the guy on
Timmy
the right
wore it
is
on SNL,
SD Kid.
and SD Kid's on the right.
Okay.
Fake Mink is an artist that frequently collaborates with SD Kid. Who was at a Fake Mink concert the same night SD Kid performed? Mr. Chalamet. Yeah, tons of evidence here.
But you mean
there's
sort of like Superman?
Exactly.
Like, he was
SD
there,
Kid's in
then he
LA
went
this
backstage,
week.
and then he came out and he's like, "Oh, I'm
Timothy
Timothy
Chalamet's in LA this week. Okay.
Guess who's performing in LA this week?
SD Kid.
We just said. You know what else? This is not surprising to me at all. When I saw this conspiracy theory come up, I was like, I 110% believe it because of all of the videos I've seen of Timothy Chalamet when he was in middle school and high school, at his talent shows, rapping, dancing, choreography, even when he was like at his house, freestyling. Boy's got bars. He hangs out with rappers. Kid Cudi is one of his really good friends.
Do we have any? Do we have a little bit of SD Kid rapping that we could play?
It's Timothy Chalamet.
It's 1,000% Timothy Chalamet. Charles, what
I
again?
will say this morning,
100% Timothy
this morning,
Chalamet.
I didn't think it was, but it could be.
It's the
Timothy
same
Chalamet.
thing, Childish Gambino.
Could be.
And it sounds just like him when he was rapping.
Yes.
You go listen to him
So wait
rapping
a
in
second.
middle school and
All
go
along,
listen to him now.
when everyone was saying, how in the world did Kylie Jenner go from Travis to...
She knew. She saw Timothy.
So she's still in the rap game.
She's in the rap game.
Season side. Yeah.
She's better. She's in the undercover rap game.
Hi, I'm T-Rex from Gulf Shores, Alabama, and I want to comment on Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet as a secret UK rapper, it sounds like a plot twist that we didn't know we needed. This feels so like an SNL skit. Even AI didn't see this coming. I guess next thing you know, he'll be on the red carpet trying to promote his mixtape.
Well, don't be surprised about that.
Right. I mean, this is a great way. He is in the middle of promoting Marty Supreme. So
I love this.
If SD Kid shows up at the premiere for Marty Supreme, and then like 5 minutes later, Timothy Chalamet comes walking in posing for photos.
It is.
Okay.
In the 20 years we've done TMZ, if this is true, I think it is, it's one of the most awesome things that anybody has ever done.
Coming up.
President Trump, as he said he would, signed the petition yesterday to release all of the Epstein files that the DOJ has. However, since he has signed it, we have heard all about several loopholes that will prevent certainly some of the files coming out and maybe a lot more than people expect.
Be right back.
Well, the Jeffrey Epstein survivors are celebrating because President Trump, as he said he would, signed the petition yesterday to release all of the Epstein files that the DOJ has. However, since he has signed it, we have heard all about several loopholes that will prevent certainly some of the files coming out and maybe a lot more than people expect. In other words, this whole buildup could end up being kind of disappointing and anticlimactic once the files are released. They have 30 days now, the DOJ does, to release this. But what will they actually release? We were talking about it, and it seems like President Trump might have, or at least thinks that he has a plan here that will result in a lot of the files not coming out to the public.
We want to test this out.
Yes. So joining us right now is a sitting member of the House Committee on the Oversight Committee is Congressman Suhas Subramaniam. Congressman, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Thanks for having me.
So, Congressman, I want to test out a theory because I was puzzled on Friday when Donald Trump said that he was launching an investigation into Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Democrats who he says have connections to Epstein, and Pam Bondi said there's new evidence. And I thought, if these files are clearly going to come out at some point, why would he allow Pam Bondi to say, well, we're not going to release information on them, and they're the very people Donald Trump wants to go after? So it got me thinking, is it possible that what Donald Trump is doing here is playing chess, and that now Pam Bondi can say, well, you know, since there's now an investigation into these two Democrats, we can't release anything because it's all intertwined. So it becomes just a long delay tactic. Is that on your radar?
Oh, I think you're exactly right. And I think it's even a little more nefarious. I think that a couple things could happen. One, he could simply release files that he deems should be released. And so he'll only release files related to Democrats, actually, and then withhold files that make him look bad or are embarrassing to him. Another thing that I'm concerned about is perhaps he could tamper with the files themselves. And so, you know, those are two things that I think we're probably going to see happen. And I think that's why, you know, he was so quick to sign the legislation, is because he has this plan, and I think you're on the right track with what the plan probably is.
So if that is the plan, and if something gets released but a lot doesn't get released, who gets to check DOJ? Is that what the Oversight Committee would attempt to do, and how would you do that? Who gets to check their work as to what is actually being released?
We have one ace in the hole, and it's the ultimate one. It's that the victims are so strong and so brave that they can help us through this investigation like they already have. And so if they see a bunch of files released and there's stuff missing or there's stuff that's overly redacted, they can help us get on the right track. Second, we also have other sources of information like financial documents. We just subpoenaed the financial institutions like JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank. And the victims told us that those financial records tell a huge story of Jeffrey Epstein's crime.
Is it possible? Again, to me, Donald Trump is not going to suddenly say, oh, okay, we'll just release it, given what he's done for months and months and months before. So given that, I'm a little bit surprised that with all the victims and all the information, you guys still don't know what specifically they are saying. And I'm just curious, A, why that is, since you guys have had meetings with them, sessions with them, and B, if you haven't yet gotten into specifics with them, if they don't release files, are you just going to hold a public hearing and say to all of them, just spill it, lay it all out?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, we are going to get files from the estate, and we're going to get these financial documents. And so what we're looking for is evidence. And the victims don't want to just come out and tell, a whole list of people without there being evidence to support them, right? There's been so many times where they were threatened, intimidated, or simply not believed that they just want to help us with our investigation and find the proof first and let the evidence do the talking. So that's what we're really trying to get at, is rather than the victims come out and say all these names and throw out accusations, that instead we have the victims point us in the right direction of where the proof is, and then we get that proof. And so they've told us over and again that the Justice Department and these financial records and the state have all these documents. We've got two of them, but we still need the Justice Department, and we're waiting on the bank records.
I know that before yesterday, there was a big ceremony on the steps of the Capitol with several of the survivors and members of Congress. And it felt like, and I heard some of the survivors say this, that it felt like they finally were getting somewhere and that this was an incredible day. And it felt almost like a celebration. How quickly does that turn, and are they now realizing this may not be what we thought it was going to be?
It will turn quickly if what we're all talking about right now comes true and the Trump administration selectively releases files. So far, they've released files that were 97% public, just to give you a benchmark here. But I will say this, a lot of people told the victims that we would never have a day like this, where the Epstein files release was not only getting past the House, but then signed by the president himself. People told him over and over again that that would never happen. People told them that no one would ever believe them when they first started blowing the whistle many years ago, sometimes decades ago. And so they should, and they do deserve to celebrate their victories. And they do deserve to get all the credit for getting us this far.
I know you're saying that to get it this far, that is something to celebrate, but it may all feel very empty within a month if nothing ever comes out, because then they're just back where they were. Yes, members of Congress believed them and they signed it, and the president even put his name on the document, but if nothing comes out, then they're right back where they were.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I'll just say this, that this investigation isn't just about the crimes or about releasing names. It's about the cover-up as well, about how the system failed people, failed young girls who were exploited. And so even if we get to this point where we're stonewalled again, we're going to continue to push and be dogged in pursuit of the truth here.
Now, yeah, I got to tell you, finally, I'm kind of a history buff, and I don't have to go back too far. When you look at what happened when Donald Trump took those boxes of classified documents to Mar-a-Lago after he left office the first time, he was very slow to give them back. And they requested it, and he didn't oblige. They requested it, and he gave some, but didn't give others. They ended up having to do a search warrant. He has now railed on that for years. So, you know, in my head, this seems like it almost seems like hunting for fool's gold, that no matter what comes out, nobody at this point is going to believe the truth is being told.
Right.
So, you know, you're going down a road, to me, that is kind of unsatisfying no matter what happens. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong that this is going to be difficult. I'll tell you this. We've had a prince lose his title. We've had a very powerful person get kicked off his company's board. We've had many other people who are held accountable, at least in some form, maybe not enough, for what we've done already this past 6 months. And so, again, we're going to continue to push. You're right that this isn't going to be easy. Maybe that this is going to be close to impossible. But we're not going to stop, because the victims deserve better, and we want to make sure it never happens again.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will see. It's going to be a very interesting month ahead. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Coming up.
Spencer Pratt has some strong words for the governor of California, Gavin Newsom.
Either Gavin Newsom has the world's biggest liars as lawyers representing him against the fire victims, or he has the dumbest lawyers.
Be right back.
Spencer Pratt has some strong words for the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. And it all has to do with Spencer's efforts, like so many thousands of other families here in the LA area, his efforts to rebuild after the devastating fires back in January. It's not going well for Spencer, and
for a lot of other people. The building has been painfully slow. There's been some movement, but in areas...
Permits are not being issued with any haste whatsoever.
I have a lot of friends who are just don't know what they're going to do.
So this is what Spencer had to say about this issue that so many people are going through.
Either Gavin Newsom has the world's biggest liars as lawyers representing him against the fire victims, or he has the dumbest lawyers. Because yesterday they argued, because Newsom's lawyers said that Topanga State Park, that Gavin Newsom was responsible for, that burned our town and 12 people alive, was not like a developed airport. Ready for this right here? It goes without saying the parks would not have stored any gasoline in the park, let alone large quantities of highly combustible gasoline. All you had to do, Newsom's lawyers, is go on to Newsom's Cal Fire Instagram from one day ago, and you'll see them. Each fuel reduction method has its own unique considerations. That's right. That's right. That's right. It was surrounded in highly combustible fuel. You just used the wrong word. It wasn't gasoline. It was dead brush, you geniuses.
I mean, he's got a point.
He's got a point. They're talking, right, the lawyers are referring to fuel as actual gasoline. Obviously, clearly what they meant when anybody who lives in LA knows this, we talk about fuel being brush when it's overgrown.
And
everyone in LA knows that.
And there's a big problem with the brush clearance in this area. And a lot of people say it wasn't done. We knew that the winds were coming. They always come. And that we were setting ourselves up for disaster for that and many other reasons. We actually contacted the governor's office that referred us to the agency that handles this.
That handles the brush clearance or brush.
And
we reached out to them.
And they just said, we're not going to, no, they just said, we have nothing to say about this.
Right.
Jenna in Chicago, I hope I never have to experience what Spencer and his family have gone through, along with the many people that have lost their homes and loved ones in the Palisade fires. It's clear that he is beyond frustrated with the California government, and I feel like he's saying what many people who have been affected by the fires are feeling.
I have never heard so many people talk about government in this year. People are so angry over
which
various...
is a bad thing because that means they're not happy.
Coming up.
Kevin Spacey has fallen on hard times financially. He says
he's homeless.
He's homeless. But wait, there's more.
Be right back.
Kevin Spacey has fallen on hard times financially. He says
he's homeless.
He's homeless. But wait, there's more to that, especially the use of the word homeless. But he says, look, he has definitely had some financial hardship since all the allegations that came out.
He lost his home in Baltimore. It was foreclosed.
A beautiful home. And he says he is now forced to live in Airbnbs. Now,
that does not qualify.
Does not qualify as homeless to me. I get it, you're living in temporary rental, but that you're not homeless.
He has
when people hear the word homeless.
Hold on, let Derek bury himself. Go.
He's fallen from a very high perch, though, is what he's trying to convey.
Is he homeless?
He's not without shelter.
Okay.
He has shelter.
So
I'll give you that. We can start in shelter.
Okay, so
yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, there's a roof.
Is somebody who lives in an apartment where they don't own it homeless?
No, as long as you have shelter.
Do they have a home?
Yes, they have a home.
So how is
but
he
it
homeless?
doesn't. You know what? In his heart, it doesn't feel like he has a home anymore. In 2017, he was flying very high.
We get it.
And he was cut from House of Cards. Money was coming in the door. He's won all of these lawsuits and criminal cases.
This is what he told the Daily Telegraph about. By the way, as far as his financial status, he says the costs over these last 7 years have been astronomical. I've had very little coming in and everything going out, paying lawyers. I'm living in hotels, I'm living in Airbnbs, I'm going where the work is. I literally have no home. That's what I'm attempting to explain.
So
he went on to say he is not bankrupt.
He's not bankrupt.
By the way, he says he's working. I know he's going through it.
It's all going out the door.
He is not homeless. He is not on house.
Jamil reporting live back in Texas. Kevin Spacey homeless is insane. I mean, this man saved Samuel L. Jackson's life in the movie The Negotiator. I hope that he can somehow negotiate a way to get some work back in Hollywood.
Well, he's getting some.
He's starting to get some work. It's not major studio films where, big budget, but he's getting work.
And by the way, a great actor. He is a great actor.
That is true.
Undeniable. What else do you guys want to talk about?
I want to talk about the Epstein files. I think they need to release the Epstein files because I feel like Donald Trump is trying his hardest not to expose them because if the American people knew all the crimes that were in the Epstein files, they wouldn't be able to turn and look the other way. No matter what job you have, you are not above the law. Every crime should be prosecuted, no matter who the accusers are.
Well, here's the thing.
It would be nice
Every
if
crime
it
is
worked
not
that way.
prosecuted.
Yeah.
And that is, sadly, what you're talking about, fantasy.
Yeah.
It just is. One more.
Camp Los Angeles, and I'm talking about the Justin Bieber situation. I don't think it's staged.
He always finds himself in these weird situations where he's off road. I remember there was a time where he got stranded in the hood and he was doing push-ups and all types of nonsense like he's fighting for his life. I don't get it, but I don't think it's staged.
Well, 60% of the people on our live stream say it is. So there.
Well, that's because everyone's going to go to the negative.
Coming up.
Definitely fight of the year. I almost said fight of the century, and it actually might end up being fight of the century. Talking about the Oval Office meeting set for tomorrow between New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mandani and Donald Trump.
It's going to be a circus.
Be right back.
Definitely fight of the year. I almost said fight of the century, and it actually might end up being fight of the century.
Could be.
Talking about the Oval Office meeting set for tomorrow between the New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mandani and Donald Trump.
It's going to be a circus. He's the leader of the Democratic Party, according to Donald Trump. That's his best weapon
he wants
right
to
now.
say that because he wants to say
he's calling him a communist and all. He's going to say it to his face. Mandani is not going to sit there and
what
listen.
happens when they sit down at the Oval Office and where there's normally Trump is trying to glad hand with leaders.
They are locked
and
and
he
loaded.
says, "Well, you're a communist." Mandani it can't just sit there
He's
and
going
take that.
to say you're a dictator, and they are going to go back and forth. And ultimately, my prediction is Donald Trump and/or J.D. Vance is going to throw the New York mayor out of the Oval Office.
That's their plan right now, regardless of what's said.
Regardless.
They're going to work up to a point where they throw him out.
This is going to be amazing. We're all in. We'll see you tomorrow.